Oh.
Right. That's what you about to get. I'm not even all the way in the camera. I'm all the way over here. Let me go ahead and scoop my ass in the camera. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Between the Sheets. As you can see, I'm on the camera today, and I am taking over her show. This is no longer Between the Sheets with Robin Reese because she done had enough people between the sheets. This time it's I'm taking over. I'm a dom. Okay, so
Okay, so hey y'all, before because he already didn't let me talk. So hey y'all.
what's going on? What are we talking about today?
Well, I know we talked about saving Milwaukee. Especially after all of the events from Juneteenth.
We're not even gonna talk about. Okay, so first and foremost, shout
but
out
if
to
you
Milwaukee.
wanna.
Shout out to Milwaukee. We had the longest running Juneteenth event here in the city of Milwaukee. So, let's clap it up for that right there. Okay. You be forgetting who you have buttons. But one thing that I will have to say in regard to the situations of everything that just recently happened, we can't let the end result take away from the positivity of the event itself. Juneteenth is always a beautiful thing. We just finally got it as a federal holiday, and for some odd reason, white America refuses to talk about shit that they did wrong. And slavery be the number one thing they be ducking and dodging, especially when it comes to accountability for it.
Do you see their face when we say something about slavery?
I don't pay attention to their face.
It's like no, they didn't just mention that. Like,
well, it's because it's kind of like pulling out a king out of your deck of hands. It's like there's only two cards that can out trump the king in most cases. So the fact that when you bring it up, it's one of those like, oh my God, I'm tired of them talking about or using slavery. That's because they want to remove themselves from the situation. But a lot of times they tend to forget that, civil rights movement was just a generation ago. I can't even say 2 generations in most cases, was just a generation ago. So when you see photos of Caucasian Americans being beyond disrespectful to African Americans, you might have to say that that's Grandma or Uncle Joe in that photo, and I think that they're not, a lot of people are not ready to accept that reality. Now, the newer generation, the younger generation, I'm not going to lie, they're a little bit more, open-minded and proactive in regards to trying to blur those lines in regards to things that we don't have to worry about that as much as before. But we're not talking about them. We are talking mostly about a better Milwaukee. When I look at our people in our cities, one thing I always point out is the fact that as a community, we used to be strong. We used to really look out for each other. I remember when I used to be able to go out the house and just roam the neighborhood. I remember playing this day at the age of 13. I hop on my bike. I lived on 10th and Monarchy. I lived smack dead in the 53206.
Me too.
That's probably why I know you.
That's like kitty corner from Lee School playground on the corner house.
Corner house? Where at?
Yeah, right across from.
How far are we from the bar?
The bar.
The bar that was right there on kitty corner.
That they turned into
the church.
Yeah, I stayed in that townhouse right there when they first built it. My family moved there.
So the same side that the bar / church was on, you had that makeshift garden. You had one house, you had a large field, and then you had my house. Okay. That's how close I was. So I was right there. So you probably were running around in my block being a badass kid.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
But I do plainly remember being able to hop on my bike and ride my bike from 10th and Monarchy all the way over to 60th in Congress without a concern in the world. I remember being able to just literally get up in the morning, clean up the house, eat breakfast, go outside, and as long as I'm back before the street lights are on, parents wasn't really that worried. Now that I sit back and I think about it, that's really fucked up how parents used to let kids roam freely. Like if you like you didn't what were y'all doing all day when the kids were gone? We just gone. But we can't do that no more. Like I barely feel safe letting my girls go outside in the front yard. We have individuals who drive reckless. You have cars that get stolen, and it's funny. I'm so funny. Um, Recently, there was a video of a young man, a Kia boy, who got stopped by an older adult, and that older adult took his pants from him and basically made him walk home in the situation to deter him from continuing these actions and whatnot. And the video went viral. Like a lot of people were talking about it and whatnot. You had some folks who was like, "Hey, be happy that that's all that happened to him." You had other people who were like, "Why would you do a kid like that? Why embarrass him? You're supposed to be teaching them how to." And it definitely had me sit down and talk. And it's crazy because his uncle-in-law, whatever you want to label it, his mama's sister boyfriend.
Mhm.
We were having a conversation yesterday. We just sitting in another studio across the hall having a conversation. He brung up his connecting in regards to that and in the importance of just being a male role model to him. And after he went through all that and having him sit down and having him talk to older individuals who not like the old people who say back in my days kind of a thing, but more so like male representation and the importance of being able to just know that there's guidance out there. And I think one of the biggest issues with our community is that togetherness is missing. We don't have those men who are stepping up in the conversations and saying, yo, you don't have to do that. You don't have to have this kind of situation. You don't have to be out here in the streets, because a lot of kids who are making the choices that they're making are not making them simply because they want to be bad guys or rap music made them do it. Some of them do it out of survival. you know Here you are, the five kids or your cousins or whatnot are in this particular life of crime, and in order for you to not be left behind or even bullied in some situations, you got to be out here and do it with them too. you know Gang culture literally was born on the back of that. You had a group of kids patrolling, protecting their neighborhoods, and as they started to gain a little bit of power, they became the bullies. And it was one of those, well, if I don't want to keep getting bullied or maybe even killed, I too got to do the exact same thing that they do. Is the old saying of get down or lay down in so many words. Okay. uh and to hear that a young man said, nah, bruh, you don't have to live this lifestyle, or you don't have to move or behave like this. Instead, you could do this instead, or you can go over here, or you can learn from some of your mistakes or learn from my mistakes. Definitely is to me a step in the right direction for helping make a better Milwaukee, make a better community, period. Because it seems like only the Black community is the ones that really struggle the most with unity. Wisconsin, Milwaukee specifically, is a very segregated city. Like, when you're not where you're supposed to be at, one, because the street signs change color. It's number one. You St. Francis is brown, and you in Wauwatosa is blue. If somebody else is red, like, that you're outside your normal area because the street sign changes. But where certain cultures are too. Where the Germans live at, where the Puerto Ricans live at, where the Blacks reside at, where the Middle Easterns are located at. And there's pockets of culture everywhere, but it seems like only the Black pocket is where we have our biggest issues and our biggest problems in our community. And that's one of the biggest things that we need to collectively work together. So first of all, we as a community need to get on the same page. If people, and I'm not saying people should not leave the city, because you're allowed to move elsewhere for better opportunities. Hell, you're a nurse. You can go anywhere you want to. All right. So the opportunity that you were able to move to Georgia because they're offering you $50 an hour to be a nurse down there, I'd be like, get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? Not to interrupt you, but that's what has made, like, I probably could make so much money anywhere else.
Right.
But I just solely believe that my purpose is to do something to help Milwaukee. I can't do it all. I can't do it by myself. I would never try to carry that burden, but I do feel like, I will only be able to leave after I've tried to do something, meaningful to help people.
As you should. Everything shouldn't always be about money, first of all. Because when you do things out of money, you're you lose the purpose of what it is to begin with. Like if I started this business simply because I wanted to make money, I wouldn't care what kind of content is being created. I wouldn't care about an individual who they have a good message, but they can't make their payment this month. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was all about money, you would hear nothing but smut, slut, and mess on air all day because ratchetness gets you paid. Ratchetness gets you followers. Ratchetness gets you listeners. But I don't care about that. I care about content. I care about allowing people to have a voice and being able to communicate what needs to be communicated. I get paid when I get paid. Okay. Because for every good quality show that somebody does, there's one new listener who A, now has been inspired to do a show, or B, they want to see how they can help expand the brand. So if I just let you constantly keep putting out ratchet stuff, yeah, I may have a huge following over here, but they don't care about supporting the brand. They don't care about the imagery of what I try to do. They wouldn't come to me to try to help build up stuff. They would be like, well, let me go ahead and get my ratchet news because Hollywood Unlocked page is down today or whatever the case may be. I don't do that. If you actually pay attention, I really don't have no shows on the network that kind of caters to that. You know, don't like to go down that avenue in regards to it. But once you take trying to get paid out the equation, now you have a real purpose. Now you have a guided way that people can figure out how to help one another. And now we can fix problems. Don't even have to be just in Milwaukee. It can be in your own home, bro. It could be your own relationship. The simple fact that you came and you sat down and you had a conversation with like-minded people. And during that conversation, we realized that the level of accountability needed to be shifted a little bit. Now you're going back to your relationship a little bit more understanding, you know? So now something that you would have normally threw all his stuff off the top porch and called it a day, you're now sitting down having a conversation, apologizing for something you've done, which may have triggered him to do something else, which caused him to apologize. And now y'all just got a little bit stronger, all off of a conversation and a perspective. Yeah, I'm here to talk today, people. Normally I'm over there, but now I'm over here.
Okay, so while we're talking about the people making a change in the community, Tom definitely did touch on a very good key point about how it's men that men are needed, to step up and, kind of fulfill that role. Do you feel like you will be going into overload trying to help some of these young guys out, or?
Actually, no. And here's the reason why I say that. I went to North Division. Okay. And
me too, Blue Devils.
Why do I feel like this woman has been following me all my life? People, she's low-key stalking me. And I did not know that. I don't know why. Just kidding. No. And anybody who's from the city of Milwaukee knows that North Division has always gotten a bad rep.
Always.
Like it has always been perceived that we are just a school full of delinquents. Except for those who go to North Division. Because when you go there, the dopeness, the character, the personality, the creativity, just the blackety black on black of the school is just fucking phenomenal. At the time when I went to North Division, this is when the school system was still separated into specialties. So North Division was the medical prep school, meaning that our whole focus outside of the general classes were to get you prepared to some kind of career field in the medical field. So taking consideration, I just said in so many words, the so-called worst high school In the city, it's the school that's producing doctors and nurses and stuff like that. Look at how that contradicts itself when you think about it. Like, why would you put your doctors, the highest paying jobs in America now, at your worst school? If the narrative is not being told incorrectly, right? We were actually out here doing our thing. So I was a part of a program called GE Scholars. It was gone by the time you got there because, of course, funding. And literally, it mentored kids on a day-to-day basis. We got to look at the world a little bit differently. And then on top of that, I was also part of Upper Bound. Here are individuals who early 20s for most of the staff, in my opinion, at the time. We're literally here working, teaching, and elevating us to think outside of the box of what we were doing. I went to UWM Upper Bound, and believe me, I had a fucking blast. And it really molded us into a better person, to the point where I'm naturally a helpful person because of these experiences in regards to it. So knowing that I have two daughters, okay, who are 10, which Lily turned 10 years old today. Happy birthday.
Mm-hmm. Are they twins?
No, Tiana and Lily are 2 years apart. You might as well call them twins because they together, but they exact opposite at the same time. I already know that young men are eventually going to be their love interests. Okay, so they're going to want to date. If I can help make sure that there's at least two guys who grow up to become respectable human beings and they're dating my daughters, I've done my job. But no, honestly, we can't fix the issues with males and their mental health if we don't step in if we're supposed to. We have so many young men in the generation that you're in and a little bit lower than you who were raised by single mothers, who don't know who their father was or had poor representation of what males look like, to the point where they don't know how to be men. They don't know how to be men, but then now they're going out here and they're trying to date. They're getting in relationships. They're creating kids, but they don't know how to be men. So how are you going to raise a son and you don't know how to be a father because you don't know how to be a man? So if we are able to create programs and create initiatives and actively participate in these initiatives, that's the only way we're going to be able to change the way men behave in today's society. We can sit up here and say niggas are trash all day, but what are we doing to take out the trash in so many words? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. We got to fix it. We got to fix it somehow. So we got to take advantage of these initiatives. I know that there's programs out here left and right to help little boys go down better pathways and give them better alternatives, but we're not really pushing them as much as we used to. Like, I can log on right now and I can say, name me a woman empowerment group and things that are going on, and they'd be flooded. Okay, let me name me some men group out here that are out here helping men, and that post may go quiet for about 5 hours before somebody finally posts something.
You know, the only program that, and I might be wrong, but government-wise, the only program I know is the Fatherhood Initiative. And the only way you qualify for that is if you are the single father of a child and the mother is not at home and has documented that she has some reason why she's not taking care of the child, is the way that the father is the father.
I'll get back to that because I am sitting down with one of the
and that's through FSET, y'all, right, for those who might need that information.
I am sitting down with one of the members of that organization soon. And I will go ahead and get a little bit more details in regards to that. But I don't even think that's the only case, because the key word right there was governmentally funded. There's definitely nonprofit programs out here that a lot of men can deal with. And there's a lot of children-based programs out here as well, too. It's just that it doesn't get the spotlight that it needs. It doesn't. Because if you think about it, if we improve the quality of Black love and Black household, the power dynamics in America would shift tremendously. If a Black household, if a Black man and a Black woman got on the same page and was financially educated, do you know that is an unstoppable force?
Yeah.
We already have a natural hustle and drive in it. It's literally ingrained in our DNA. So if we have proper knowledge and we have support, you can't stop us from being successful. But if we're on two different pages where we're arguing back and forth because he ain't shit, niggas ain't shit, and bitches ain't shit, of course we'll never get on the same page. We'll never get out of financial, strife and stuff like that.
And you know what? Black people are the most talented group of people like I've ever met. Everything in the world that really ever experienced has been that I've utilized, at least to say, has been piggybacked off a black person. That's why when Black History Month come up, little kids like my son in second grade now was like, "Mom, did you know this and that was made by this person, that person?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but people don't know, or people act like they don't."
Taking consideration, Black culture has single-handedly shaped what the world looks like. How old is hip hop?
About so about 60 years old.
No, it's 50. It's 50 as of this year.
Okay.
As of this year, hip hop.
Good guess.
As of this year, hip hop is exactly 50 years old. See, that's how I know you wasn't watching BET the other day. No. And the reason why I'm specifically bringing that up is because at one point in time, hip hop was said to be garbage, jargon, and it made no sense. Yet, you can turn on your TV in that 3-minute and 30-second commercial break. You're going to hear a hip hop song, a hip hop beat, a makeshift rap, some type of dancing, some type of anything that has a Black imprint on it in regards to our culture. Whether the commercial is catering to us or you're just sampling something that is of the Black culture, advertisement on a global scale is influenced by African American culture. Okay? We literally control consumerism, but yet we purposely do not have our own hands on how our dollars are regulated. And we're not trying to. Well, let me back that up. We're just now trying to start getting that. As bad as the pandemic was the greatest thing that ever happened to the Black community.
Because a lot of people were able to come up.
Right. Yes, we had some scams, and that's one thing that they always pointed out was the PPP loan scams and all the different things. But you had a lot of entrepreneurs who pulled the trigger on their business for the very first time and have never worked for anybody since then. You've had a lot of companies reevaluate what workers or what essentials look like, that we have jobs where people permanently are working from home right now. The possibility of working from home became an equation for us now, and taking consider households where you had kids and school gets out at 3:00, but you don't get off of work until 7. So now you're paying daycare and you need government assistance in order to afford the child care. Now you don't need any of that at all. Now, because you can work from home, you take your lunch between 2 and 3. That's when you bring the kids from home. You get them situated. They stay in their space. At 3:30, you're logging back into work at home. You're able to manage everything in one place. You have people who realize that fuck this job is a real thing, where people was like, you know what? I was able to pay my bills, maintain my household, still take this fly ass vacation, but more importantly, I'm not being stressed out by this company. You had a lot of big major companies and corporations have to close their doors and change the way they do business, simply because when you don't have the help that you need, you can't keep doing business the same way you were doing. The entrepreneurship in Black folks really kicked in because Black folks knew how to survive no matter what. So when we couldn't go to work or we couldn't go outside, we made it work inside. We got tons of pandemic babies though, but that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother conversation. But even then we sat down and we started healing ourselves. We started realizing that as Black people, we have mental health issues that we need to work through. And we started working through our problems. We started having that conversation with our parents and fixing our childhood trauma. We started really fixing ourselves. Now, mental health is like the most talked about thing this day and age, to the point where men are now even starting to go get therapy. Something that wouldn't have been heard of. We would have just got up, went to work, went to the bar, came home, and continued on with life, knowing we stressing the fuck out. Now we sitting down We talking to therapists, whether it's on our phones, via chat, or even physically in their office. We're now getting help. We're taking days off. I'm not going to sit here and have 140 sick hours, but I'm not going to take no days off because we got these deadlines to meet. Fuck them deadlines. I'm going to Cancun.
Charlemagne, the guy from the Breakfast Club, I bought both of his books, and he was like the first man I saw say something about mental health, like, which is crazy because of course, it shouldn't take for a celebrity to say, because even when I was growing up, I never really heard none of the men I grew up around say anything. If I'm probably sure that they probably were like shit mad about a lot of stuff, but I just never seen men spaz out like how they do now.
A lot of it has to do with the fact that there were gender roles. Okay. Up into the 80s, specifically, there were gender roles. Men had a certain level of responsibilities in the household, and women had particular roles of maintaining the household. So we knew that at the end of the day, if this didn't get done by us, it didn't get done. Okay. And we dealt with it. We couldn't get up and just quit our job at the warehouse that we've been at for 15 years simply because we're sick and tired of the foreman. We couldn't complain about the fact that we were only getting paid $10 an hour because you come to find out that everybody was getting paid $10 an hour. Common misconception that a lot of people believe when working for a company. They tell you that you should not talk about your pay to other people. So when you get a job and you get a payment or a raise, or you're coming into the job and they're offering to pay you $22 or $23 an hour, you may hear the hiring person or HR say, well, this is what you're getting paid. Make sure you don't tell nobody what you're getting paid. That's a misconception. You're not supposed to do that. You are 100% allowed to talk about your pay to whoever the hell you want to talk about your pay to. Because let me ask you this question. If I hired you for a job and you getting paid $24 an hour, why would I fire you because you told somebody that you get paid $24 an hour? How much does that make? You're not going to dock pay because of what I pay. You're not going to decrease my pay because of how much I told you, how much you're getting paid. The reason why they don't want you to tell how much you got paid, because they know for a fact that there's other individuals who work this job
You get paid less,
who are getting paid less. They know for a fact that there are people on their staff that they knew how to scheme, how to get over. So if they find out that you, who just walked in this door, is getting paid $24 an hour, it's going to cause a slew of people to come in and say, I'm not getting paid $24 an hour, and I've been here for 10 years. So now you have to explain that your policies and practices over the last 10 years either has been total bullshit and you've been getting over on these people, or you need to explain to them why their pay increase has not gotten to the point they need to get to. So they don't want you to say nothing to avoid all of this problems. But what's happening, or what happened during the pandemic, was people realize you can't keep paying me these low prices and overworking me. You have to pay me A, B, C, D. So when you find out, let's use the fast food industry for an example. You find out that people at McDonald's are not even getting paid $10 an hour, and they're demanding $15 an hour as minimum wage, even though that's still not shit, but they're publicly demanding $15 an hour. Now, Burger King says, well, if McDonald's can get 15, why don't I get 15? And then Wendy's saying, why don't we get 15? Now the whole entire restaurant industry is now demanding coming in the door needs to be at 15. So now we got a whole pandemic issue going on because we don't want to work because we don't have to work. Unemployment is paying us good. You need us in here. We don't have to be here. I can stay on unemployment because I don't even have to get fired recently. I can still get unemployment. I just say, hey, pandemic, here's your unemployment check. So now I don't have to come to work at all. I don't have to come to work. So you need me more than I need you. So you're going to give me this 15 or else I'm going to sit on this unemployment. I ain't got no problem with doing that. So they had to bend. So they upped the pay to 15, in some cases 16, as your starting pay. Now you have regular everyday individuals who are working corporate jobs, customer service jobs, people to people jobs, who's saying my job is better than a fast food job and I'm only making 16. I'm not going to make 16. You got to give me 18 because why should I be on the same level as my 16-year-old daughter working at McDonald's? You got to up my pay. You know what I'm saying? So now you have regular customer service jobs that's gone up to 18 minimum. When I was working for BMO Harris for the brief moment in time I was working there, only because life was lifing. Within the first 3 months of my job working there, I got 4 raises. Numerically per each hour, it wasn't much, but it's the fact that they kept raising our pay all the time simply because to compete with other people. Even when they were sitting us down telling us our first pay increase, they were doing it privately. Oh, don't tell nobody how much you're getting paid. Oh, don't tell nobody how much you're getting paid. So we're being pulled in the office one by one, even though we all started at the same time. So we're all already a close-knit group. We're being pulled in the office one by one. Hey, did you get a raise? Did you get a raise? Of course we got a raise. Well, how much you get? We all got $1,500 each. Okay. Why couldn't you just collectively say, hey, we're all going to give you a $1,500 raise to keep it competitive? You want to know why? Because we may have gotten a $1,500 increase, but those already on the floor may not have gotten it. So now we ain't supposed to tell them we get more money than them. Why? Because you know we're important. So, yeah, number one misconception, talk about your pay. Because you may be getting undercutting yourself just simply because you're happy to have a job. And you may cause more increases to happen just because people are talking.
You know what? Working in the medical field.
Y'all don't count. Because they throw money at y'all. Y'all don't.
That is not true.
So you're not gonna sit. Let's use the pandemic. You're not gonna sit here and tell me that y'all. Now I will say the medical field, number one, hands down, most essential group. Because regardless if y'all had COVID or not, they still wanted y'all to come in. Okay. Y'all could do everything under the sun, still catch COVID. Why? Because you're working with COVID patients. Y'all were necessary. Okay, give you that. But I literally had friends, registered nurses, getting paid $100 an hour to just administrate COVID tests.
Okay, so patient care. A lot of especially in Milwaukee right now, a lot of nursing homes are losing their.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
A lot of nursing homes are losing their long-term care facility. Well, some call them units, some call them pods or whatever, because they don't have enough staff to support the people that are in those facilities. So, and where, from my standpoint, pay has been a big part of that because, they're supposed to do like an evaluation of the service area, and they're supposed to do the pool and see what the other people like McDonald's or Burger King see what the other people are paying.
Right.
And then they're not paying anything. And then you got people walking out saying, well, I could just go to agency and make this much instead of working here. I could come back through here, get my same assignment, but I'll be getting paid like $8, $9, $10 more.
Right.
When they could have just gave them like a $2 or $3 increase to avoid. So, yeah.
Right. The medical field has always been a shiesty ass field. Okay. So I'm old people, not by the gray hairs, but just by the fact that I know shit. Okay. About 30 years ago, had you ever heard of a position called a CNA? Mm-hmm. Okay.
That was a good job to have.
Right. Even before then, CNA got created. It was a position that got created, I think about maybe 40 or 50 years ago. The position of CNA got created because actual registered nurses were being overworked and underpaid. Okay. If you look at everything that a CNA is responsible for doing, there was a point in time that nurses had to do all that on top of what their regular duties were. Mm-hmm. So it was like, no, we need help. Okay. We need an assistant. Okay. So when the nurses need an assistant, we need to have somebody to come do what's referred to as the grunt work of it all.
Yeah.
Okay. And to make sure that just anybody couldn't walk up in here and get this job, we got to teach you how to do things the right way because we got codes we have to maintain. Therefore, you have to get certified. That's where the position of the CNA got created in regards to it. Because the grunt work is the most important work because that's direct care of the patients in regards to it. CNAs was making a pretty penny. But if you went through all this training and schooling to be a nurse, the needs and the demand of a nurse went down. You didn't need 7 or 8 nurses on a wing anymore. You may only needed 2. Then you started having individual home health care nurses. Now, for a lot of households, having an in-home nurse is more beneficial to them than putting grandma or granddad in a nursing home. So you can be a traveling nurse and make buku bank. Okay. You can make way more money being a licensed travel nurse instead of being a practitioner nurse in the actual hospital. Or is it the other way around? I don't remember what the extra letters are. Okay. I know there's an R, there's a P, there's an L. I just know y'all get paid. Okay. Get fucking paid. All right. But at the same time, hospitals will undercut how y'all get paid. Because if the patients are not there, we're not bringing in the money from the insurance companies. We're not bringing in the private funds from the families and whatnot. So we can't keep y'all in there. But then what ends up happening is you've let go of 20 nurses out this hospital. Okay. Then all of a sudden, boom, something hits. Let's take COVID for an example. Now you got patients on top of patients on top of patients where you got patients out in the hallway because you ain't got no place to put them. You know what I'm saying? Like you got these that have to be isolated. You got these that have to be okay. You got these that technically we're going to shift to outpatient. We got these where we're going to give you some Tylenol and send your ass home, even though you may be slowly dying on the inside. So I need as many nurses as I can get in here as possible. So I'm going to give all of you who dropped whatever you were doing, came in and decided to be a nurse, and please stay here and help us as much as possible, an extra $10 on an hour on top of what everybody else is. But if you already here from this hospital and you already work with us, we're going to go ahead and just double your pay for every hour past your normal schedule you stay here. So you have people who are clamoring to get all this good money because at the time you're getting a good check. But when's the last time you've been home? When was the last time you had some good rest? When was the last time you seen your family? When was the last time you had some good sleep? You see what I'm saying? So you might be making good money, but it's not your base. And you want, and you should have your base be better. If you're getting paid $20 an hour, but you get paid $30 for overtime, why can't you just give me $25 as a regular base pay and then try to get some better people up in here so we can have a consistent rotation? That's not how to, because it makes sense, but what will end up happening is we take care of all these patients, we clear out all these beds, and now the nursing home is empty because we didn't healed all the sick. Now I got 20 nurses on staff again for no reason. And I can't just fire you because can't just fire you. So now I got to drop your hours down or move you to another wing or see if St. Francis needs you where old folks be at all the time. It's an issue with the medical field that just needs to be redefined altogether. But y'all get paid the most and got the most debt. Show me the lie.
Possibly.
No, I know y'all do. Shit, I used to do collections on student loans. You motherfuckers be having some high ass bills.
But you know what? When I went to school for nursing this time, I actually did it like off my back. Like I paid for my stuff and then I applied for a lot of scholarships. Yeah, because I don't want no student loans and stuff coming after me. I want to be 100% debt free when I was done, and I did that.
And that's good. Now you can spend all your money all you want to. Make sure you get TDR $1,000 a month. We good. I'm your student loan now.
Okay, so before we continue, I do just want to shout out 2 businesses really quick. The group Glow 414, she was the lady of the business. She took that major hit over the weekend or a few days ago with the car accident. It actually slammed into her building. It's a very unfortunate situation because it is like right in the heart of a community in need. She does try to help as many young girls as she can. And, you know, just that we're taking away from something that's beneficial to our kids, you know. if anybody has something that they want to donate to her, or if they want to reach out, or however the case may be. I don't know her personally. I just was watching it, the information on the news, and I just felt so bad for her because it's just one of those things, like, you get caught up in a wrong, well, not really the wrong place at the wrong time, but you just take a hit like that towards your business, and you just so happen to be somewhere where somebody else actions affect what you're trying to do. I don't know how she will bounce back from it. I do believe in God, and I do think that God will provide something on an even greater level for her company. But I do just want to um have everybody reach out to her. The business is called Glow 414 again. She helps out a lot of young girls in the community, preferably like the teenager stage, from what I
Yes.
saw. If anybody could just donate anything, she has a GoFundMe on her Facebook account. It's called Glow Founder, GLOW space Founder, FOUNDER. Um, and
I
my prayers go out to her, and I hope that this is a tragedy to a beautiful beginning, for her. She's done a lot of work, and she's always trying to do more work. I know she was just in the next phase of having the next group of girls come and be a part of her organization. So
Yes, I had the privilege of interviewing her a couple of years back in regards to when I first started one of my shows here. And that program is actually a beautiful program in regards to the amount of things that she does to help teen girls, and even to the point where in some cases, excuse me, she actually gives placements for some of the girls in regards to having a place to stay in very traumatic moments in their lives in regards to it, helping them get work in some cases, better educations in regards to it. Um, Going back to like one of the issues that how we even got here with her was it was a police car chase in regards to it. And the car actually lost control and actually ran smack dead into the front door of the building. So the car itself really destroyed and damaged the building. If anybody knows or seen the building, it's actually on the 2300 of Hopkins. So anybody who's ever been down the Hopkins Street knows how that is a very wild, dangerous road. And currently, right now, the building is actually inhabitable. On the second floor level, you literally can see the bricks from the front foundation, literally ready to fall off. It's been about a couple of days, with the weather being the way it is, it may have actually collapsed at this point in time. So I don't know where or what she specifically needs in regards to it. But for those of you guys who are listening, definitely go ahead and take a look at that and see what you guys can do to help her out. It's not like one of those situations where a person passed and they didn't have life insurance. It's literally a building that it is not even their fault that they are in this situation. So please try to help as much as you can.
and then I also
TDR is.
and then yeah, and if you could give me her information.
You already
Or
got it.
well, I just found, watched the news. I didn't.
Yeah, it's on my page.
Okay.
I posted it several times.
Okay, so I'll go in
Matter of
there,
fact, you remind me to go post it again.
and then it's another group home that just opened up for teenage girls. It's called Pretty Girls with a Purpose. One of my coworkers shine light to the situation. They just had a grand opening a couple days ago. I don't know them for, in particular, but I also want to shout them out too because they're doing a wonderful thing by having a group home for teenage girls. I know that they are helping girls ages 12 to 18, and just stuff like that. I always want to shout out black businesses, black business owners that are trying to do something. I think it's very, very, very important because if people don't know, if we don't tell them, so the more I say, the more Tone says, the more all of us say, the more all of us uplift each other and speak on each other's behalf is how we could probably close up this circle or bridge up this gap of miscommunication and lack of resources because there's something out here to help everybody. So again, if everybody could just reach out to the owner of Glow 414 and then Pretty Girls with a Purpose group home. I will also share both of their information on my Facebook page too. So
Pretty girls walk like this. That's all that was in my head the whole time when you were saying that's funny, funny as hell.
So initially, when I thought about this episode, when they were on the news, they were talking about the 15-year-old boy who had the gun, who potentially shot all six of the people at the Juneteenth thing, and I just thought back to myself about how, back in the day when a young person had a gun, you automatically knew they got it from their mom or dad or somebody in the household. I can't believe the amount of weapons that are on the streets of Milwaukee and that are just so accessible like that. Like it's very disheartening because I have a 15-year-old and I'm talking to her all the time about just being aware of your surroundings, being aware of the people that you be around, because you never know what other people have or got going on or what they got access to.
Right.
And I hate that it was an unfortunate situation for all of those young people, but not only that, this is how you end such a wonderful occasion. Like I'm like, this is supposed to be a celebration of everything that we overcome as people, or everything that we're trying to remember as to how our culture got to where it is. And it's like you ended with a 15-year-old, not 18, not 21, but 15-year-old, child in a sense, with a dangerous weapon of such sort. And I'm just hoping that Milwaukee could find a way to. We got to find a way to get these guns off our streets. It's too many of them. Like 15 years old. At 15 years old, I didn't want to touch a gun, but I mean, I know it's probably different for boys than girls, but still, like. I don't even remember no boys that I was around being around guns when I was 15.
All right. So confession time. 15 years old, 16 years old, I had 22. Okay. So I actually had my own gun that I had access to. I will not tell you how I got this gun because my mama might be listening. But I had my own gun. I didn't have it because of safety. I had it because I could have it. I had it because I had an ability to get access to it. At the same time, where I was staying at, because I did used to live, like I said, I was on 10th and Monarchy at this time when I had said gun. We had a lot of break-ins in our area. We had a lot of robberies in our area as a whole in regards to it. And we also had a lot of situations and scenarios where having a gun made sense to me. Okay. I never carried around with me, even though I was always a book bag boy, where 90% of the time niggas was worrying what was in my book bag. One particular day, I actually did have it on me. I had a situation in my neighborhood where I was kind of being bullied a little bit. I was a very small dude back in the days. So I had it on me. I had the intentions of dropping a nigga where they stand if somebody fuck with me this day. Not gonna lie to you.
Thank God you didn't.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Yeah. Who knows? But thank God that I didn't run into them individuals that particular day, because it could have went terribly wrong. I ended up going over by my boy Pookie house that day, and his uncle actually disposed of the gun for me, because that was the whole thing. I had it for the simple fact that my goal was to remove somebody off the face of the earth because they were fucking with me. And that particular day, I was ready to do what needs to be done. But lucky for me, I didn't run into that individual. Lucky for me, I ended up going over by a safe space. And they knew I had it on me that day because they went in my bag to get something out of there. And they asked me why I had a gun on me. And they took the gun and they put it up. Luckily, they disposed of it. They broke it down, took the pieces, got rid of it. Didn't need to have it in that situation. And it could have went terribly wrong. I also had a younger cousin and I also had a younger brother. All it would have taken was one of them two to go on my bag getting something. And next thing you know it, we got a missing family member. Guns are very accessible now, beyond what people think. A lot of us now have guns in our household for safety precautions. We even have people that collect guns. Like it's a thing for them. Other cultures proudly had guns. My first exposure to a gun wasn't even that gun. I had been around guns since I was 7 or 8 years old. My granddad used to keep tons of hunting shotguns. Now you may say to yourself, a hunting gun, that's different. No, in a given moment, I could
It
have
still
literally
shoots.
still shoot, still could have went and got me some buckshots, went out back and pulled the trigger. It may have knocked me against the wall, but somebody still could have got removed from the face of this earth. So guns have always been around. I think what it is we need to eventually get to the point where the need to pull out a gun is important. One of my favorite lines from Snowfall is when Unc was like, "Teach your man how to squabble." Basically telling young niggas instead of pulling out guns and shooting all that stuff,
You learn to fight.
hey, learn how to fight, learn how to man up, learn how to be able to stand toe to toe in regards to it. But I think a lot of that stuff is slowly going to start being less and less of a thing too, because as we as men are now starting to work on our mental health a little bit more and starting to create avenues for conversations where now we can talk about our feelings, we're not quick to pull the trigger on situations, because when you could talk a situation out, sometimes you can alleviate the misunderstanding completely. Um, Now that individual, I watched the video. Praise God that somebody actually recorded it, got a clear picture of what dude looked like, so we can get that individual off the street. And it's not even getting them off the street. There was no need for that person to shoot, because if you look at the video, he didn't directly pull it out like that. He was down here with it, sneak shooting. Okay. He decided to shoot at a couple of young ladies that were in a fight that literally won the fight. So they could have had a fight, could have been done with, and we could have had a Juneteenth without any casualties, but he decided to pull out that gun. So now we need to check and see what his mental health is like. What made you do that? Because you weren't in the fight. Nobody swung off on you. Nobody made you feel in danger. Nobody threatened your life. It was a group of ladies who got into a fight over whatever the reason may have been. They fought. They were done. You decided to shoot. And then on top of that, you hit the ladies, and I think you actually hit one of your friends too, if I'm not mistaken. So it was stupid. It was all around dumb. And that's why I keep telling everybody, don't only focus on that one incident of one individual's ill-fated decision of how to look at Juneteenth as a whole, because now the conversation is being had like it always is had when something is related to the Black community, is they want to stop doing it. They want to cancel it. They want to move it to Summerfest and cause, well, if it's over here, it's safer and it's more enclosed. It's like, then it becomes expensive. Then it becomes a ticket price. Then it becomes something you have to pay to go see and go do. Now we have to charge the Black community to come and enjoy something that we've been enjoying for free for years, all because one person felt that they had to be the big person and pull out a gun instead of just letting whoever had they fight have they fight and call it a day. So honestly, I feel like mental health needs to be the focus point on education, on availability to get help in regards to it, and it needs to be a continuous thing. It doesn't have to just be, oh, you had this situation, let's see where your head is at this moment. No, we need to look even deeper. Everything should require a therapy or a counseling or some kind of conversation about their feelings. A lot of people are now saying that the world is soft because everybody wants to talk about their feelings, and little boys are not supposed to cry. Let little boys cry, because crying is the way you find out what's wrong. Crying is how you stop psycho kids in trench coats from shooting up schools. Crying is the way you take the reality that you have not been paying attention to the circumstances. My girls, when something's going wrong, they stop and they cry in that moment because they don't know what else to do. That's when me as a parent comes to the scenario and figure out, first of all, why are you crying? Okay, let's figure out how we can fix this situation, and then let's figure out how we don't need to be in this situation ever again. What if my kid just says, "Oh, I can't do this. Let me sit here and be quiet." Now I'm like, "What's wrong?" Like I may even realize you're having a problem. You see what I'm saying? But because you started crying, now you got my attention. Crying doesn't even have to be you breaking out in tears in that moment. Just you complained about something. How many times as a woman? I know this is going to be a random left turn. How many times as a woman that you've been with your man and you fussing and complaining and whining about everything under the sun, and at the end of the day, you really just want some dick? Okay. Imagine had we not knew that that's what you want, and we just kept on going on about our day and never paid attention whatsoever. Your first thought is we don't care.
But men use that as a pacifier too.
I just use that as an example because the show
that wasn't. I ain't like that one because I know just because you have good sex with somebody and they know that they out of order or wrong, they will use that against you. It's called the damaged care package.
Stop falling,
ladies.
For it.
Don't fall for it. He Stop wrong, girl.
I'm not wrong. No, ladies, he's not wrong. Find out why. Because you
but if may he don't just tell be you why, he just come and whip it out, then what difference what is it gonna make at that point? Because now y'all done had sex and got out all the bad stuff. Y'all gonna be good for about a week and then he gonna do it again.
No, he's not. Because see, that's the problem. You're having sex. You need to be making love.
Making love. That's all. The damage care package. Everybody watch Baby Boy. Like
Baby Boy was a toxic situation that neither one of them should have been in to begin with. Yvette just didn't know how to move on. Yvette wanted Jody to be a dad, so she kept doing what she thought was the right thing to do to make Jody stay around. Jody didn't want to grow up because he was living with his mama. You continue to keep dealing with a boy who stayed at home with his mama that did not know how to be a man as of yet. So when he finally moved in with her, he still has that baby mentality where he expected Yvette to do everything for him. And she was accustomed to him when he became a problem, became a whiny little brat, to be able to send him back to his mama. But when she couldn't send him back to his mama anymore, that's when they always kept fighting. See, before, he used to be able to shut her up by giving her dick, because at the end of the day, that's really all she wanted. In that serotonin, because she can always go back to his mama, but when he couldn't go back to his mama no more, that's when
damaged care package.
Y'all need to choose better men.
Men know when to do it.
Choose better relationships.
Even men that got money, blah blah blah, whatever, they know when to do it.
Stop dating because they got money.
Okay, well, whatever. I'm saying the man could be well put together, and if he piss you off, and you try to talk about why you mad at him and what he not listening to your feelings or he's just gonna put it on you good, and then after that everything gonna be okay for about a week. He gonna be listening to your feelings and hear
you wanna know why he's not listening.
He gonna do it again. He gonna start doing all the stuff you complain about. Then he gonna put it on you again. That's how all relationships be.
No, you wanna know why? Because y'all did not cover the here, where, when, and why when you had that issue. When did you talk to him about that issue? Because sometimes you got to make sure that an individual is in a non-distractive moment when you have this conversation. How you speak to him makes a big difference too. Because if you come in and you start with, I find it funny, we immediately are mentally cut off because we know that all you're going to do is fuss. But if you come to us and you're having a regular conversation with us, including how we feel about a certain situation, we're more likely to listen, because now you're asking and you're showing that you care about our opinion in something. So when you're presenting what you don't like about a situation, after figuring out how we feel about that situation, you're now creating a dialogue and allow us to get a better understanding of each other's perspective instead of just only throwing what you don't like about something. Okay.
So now it's the presentation.
It's always the presentation. And then the why is it a problem to you? Because sometimes we don't understand why it bothers you when it doesn't bother us. Okay. So the why you're doing it or why it's an issue sometimes can easily get rectified after we understand that you see why I do this and I see why you don't like this. And I now see why it is a problem in this situation. Allow me to make the proper adjustments. Because yes, it could be, well, for the next couple of weeks, I didn't do it because I'm consciously thinking about it. But after it's no longer a conscious thing, now we have to see, can I make it an automatic thing? Watching football on Sundays when you're watching your favorite show. Are you willing to compromise the fact that maybe because football is live and I'm always talking to my friend, could you record your show and then we can watch it together after the game is over with? Or do we have to watch it then and there? Or can you go in the back room, watch it live so you can tweet and talk with your friend all you want to, and then we can watch it together again? Because I have no problem watching it with you. I'm a huge fan of binge watching something, and then the person who I started with finally decides to come back and watch it. I'll watch it again. They don't need to know I finished it. I'm going to act like I ain't never seen this scene at all.
Especially if it's a good show, ladies. Like, we can't be, because I don't care. Like, I just feel like, us time should be us time, and we should have that ironed out as to this is what we doing, this is what we got going on. Because men be needing their own time away from us too. Because we be a lot.
And I think that's where it's the level of communication on that particular scenario. It's always the level of communication. We have to understand that even though we're in a relationship, or in some cases we might even be married, we still need our alone time. One of the biggest concerns I have ever heard about when a woman is getting ready to marry a man, the reason why they're hesitant to say the yes is the loss of identity. And I was like, you don't have to lose your identity in the relationship as long as you establish that there are times and there's moments that are specifically just for you. And he has an understanding that this is your thing. I am a huge wrestling fan. I play video games as my downtime. That's how I decompress from all this shit here, right? My kid's mother knows this is what I do. So if she comes into the house and I'm playing Call of Duty and I have my headset on, we're not going to talk business while I'm playing the game. Because as much as I love the fact that you are in my space, I don't hear you. And it's not on purpose that I'm ignoring you. I don't hear you. So we talk trash during that moment to each other, messing with each other about work. We may talk work stuff. We may laugh at something that the kids did in regards to it. I may pick with her while she's on the phone with her sisters or whatnot. We may do all that, but I'm not talking bills. I'm not talking what we're going to do in regards to the kids next week. I'm not talking TDR stuff. Nothing of importance during this moment, because this is my decompression time. If she's on the phone with her sisters and her mother, that's her decompression time. So I'm gonna let you do what you do. But if there's an important conversation that needs to be had, I was like, hey, when you get done, we need to talk about A, B, C, D. And I let her be. It's okay. It's fine. We have that level of communication. That doesn't mean that because you're not here or I'm not under there or we're not talking that you must be doing something. Psst. We have an ongoing joke about the fact that she has a boyfriend at work named Pepe.
So you said that she got decompression time where she talked to her mother and her sisters.
Yeah, right? her sisters are her best friend.
How do you feel about her talking about something you feel like she should talk to you first, since y'all live together?
Ironically, she's talked to them a lot of times before she's talked to me about stuff. It does and it doesn't. When it bothers me, I do tell her that. Like, if she made a decision in regards to a job, I know you went to your mom and your sister because your mom and your sister does the same job you do. So talking to her to get a better idea of the decision that you're getting ready to make, it doesn't bother me because I know you're talking to somebody who's in the same shoe. You can't ask me about taking a position as a practitioner's nurse over here at this company for these particular days and times when I don't even know anything about what that job is going to entail for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? But after you got the information, you've kind of made a conscious decision. You just don't Don't pull the trigger on a decision before we have a communication about it. Same thing about here. I quit my regular 9 to 5 job and I'm full blown entrepreneur. I sat on that decision for about a week and a half before I physically did it. But throughout that whole entire week and a half, I talked to her about certain things. I communicated with her about certain things. I honestly did not pull the trigger until she gave me the, if you know that's the best decision for you to do. I would have sat at a job I fucking hate, knowing that we still have shit to take care of in the household. I would have just got up and said, fuck this job. Believe me, I wanted to for a while. Not a bad job. I didn't want to do it no more. Okay. But I still have that conversation with her. Do I make decisions about TDR without her? Of course. She has no say-so in regards to the business, and she states that she doesn't want to have any decisions in regards to it, but I do let her know when I have stuff for the business I need to do. So if I need to go out of town in the name of the business, I let her know I'm going out of town in the name of the business. And as long as the kids are taken care of, I have financial things taken care of before I make that decision, go right ahead. Make sure you talk to me when you touch down. Let me know when you leave it. I don't have to speak to her the whole time I'm gone. She's okay with that. You know, I don't need that over stimulation of knowing where I'm at. Just make sure that everything is good before you make these decisions and you make moves that affect the family. That's the only thing. You could talk to your mother and sister about everything under the sun. When you come to me and says, hey, I'm thinking about changing job. I don't want to work at this company no more. I want to go over here instead. What's going to do about your schedule? How are you going to look in regards to this right here? What will be your start time? I just need basic information that doesn't alter the household, because if it alters the household, now we really need to have a conversation.
Yeah, because somebody got to pick up something.
Right. So like if you decide to go from first shift back to third shift, it's like, okay, well, if you get up, what time do you get off? Because if you're getting off at this time and the girls have to be at school at this time, we may have to meet somewhere in the middle. So that means I got to get up at now 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. All right. So if that's the case, can you have the girls' clothes out the night before? Because the hardest thing for me is to find these heifers' clothes in regards to it. So if you do that, we got everything else. You know what I'm saying? I got everything else in regards to it. So there's that compromise. But if we both work first shift, you got to go in at 6. I go in at 9. Okay, get this right here laid out. Or you know what? Let's put this out the night before. Hey, man, you got 18 alarms that go off every 15 minutes, fam. You either need to cut off some of them alarms or you got to sleep in a different room. You know, like we have to make those compromises. I have no problem with them talking to other people about it. We've been dealing with each other long enough that we know exactly what needs to be ran by each other and what decisions can be made on our own, you know?
Yeah. I don't know. I just be feeling like it be every time I dated somebody and their family was intertwined in my household, it just always was like my number one complaint. Because I just feel like your mamas, your siblings, they shouldn't have so much stakehold in my house. They don't pay no bills there.
Yes and no. Yes and no.
So I was just wondering from your standpoint, you know.
I say yes and no for 2 reasons. Number one, if you guys are still in the early dating phase, less than 2 years, okay, less than 2 years, that individual, their mom, their sisters, their brother, their cousin, whoever the family they're talking to, they know him better than you do. You know them differently than them, but they know him better. So sometimes they do need to talk to their mother about how they're handling certain situations, because if the mom raised them right, the mom gets in their ass just as well too. Mm-hmm. The first time me and my kid's mom was actually living together, I had to adjust to the fact that I couldn't just do things the way I wanted to do them. I had a certain way I used to clean up the house. She had a certain way they used to clean up the house. It used to irritate my soul. I have this nasty habit of I start in one room and I clean all the rooms and bring the trash to one pile. So I don't pick it like if I'm cleaning up my room, that comes out, it's in the kitchen, then the bathroom to the kitchen, front room to the kitchen to the kitchen, and then that dining room area is this big ass huge pile of trash. It may be clothes in there, it may be books in there, it may be money in there, whatever. It's the big, huge pile, and I sort it from there. That irritates the hell out of her because she likes to clean the room, be done with the room, cut the light off, shut the door. We ain't got to worry about that room ever again. Everything is done. Go to the next room, go to the bathroom, go to the front room, kitchen. Every room is done as it's done. Okay.
Both of y'all got the same method for doing the same. I mean, different methods for it.
Yeah. So in the beginning, I used to irritate myself. I used to irritate the fuck out of her because I'll clean the whole house in this big, huge pile of trash. I'll go sit down. I'm tired. You know what I'm saying?
Then you didn't let
I left the whole pile of trash right there, and I'm tired.
Just leaving one dirty room.
Right. Instead of just leaving one or two rooms still dirty and get back to them later, there's a huge pile of trash that's there, and I'll get back to that a little bit later, or maybe now everybody's in it, or it's like, when you gonna pick this up? And I done went to sleep. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I used to irritate her. So then I used to talk to my mom. I was like, yo, this is what I'm doing. Like, we keep bumping heads on this little stuff. And my mom sat down one day. She was like, boy, shut the fuck up. Okay. Sometimes it's all about compromise. You've been cleaning this way because she knows I've been cleaning like that because hell, I used to clean her house like that for so long. But now you have to take in consideration that somebody else is accustomed to something different. Try it their way for a change. That's what compromise is. It's not standing your ground and giving in because you got wore down. Compromise is trying somebody else's method and seeing which one works better, or even incorporating into what you're doing. So maybe, yeah, you can still do your pile, but only do 2 rooms at a time. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe just clean up one room and call it a day, or call it an hour or 2, then go do the other room and then go do the final room. That way you're not burnt out, exhausted, and sleeping for 4 hours with a pile of trash in the kitchen. You know? Maybe do it that way. Maybe do it together. That way you're not burnt out. Compromise. So, yeah, I have no problem with that. Like, you can talk to your family. You know what? This is going to be the selfish part of me. I would rather she have conversations with her family, with people who know her, and more importantly, people that know me when you say these things, than to be having conversations with outside people, with coworkers, with associates, with male friends who could secretly be looking for a way to get into the relationship. Mm-hmm. We live in a society where people share so much information, specifically on social media, where you'll go on social media and complain about something, and now you have 5 or 6 people in your inbox trying to give you advice on how to do things. But secretly what they're doing is trying to manipulate your mind state to call this quits and put yourself back out here in this pissy ass dating pool, and come to realize that person was just trying to get a friendly fuck, mm-hmm. or just trying to be the side nigga that they can sleep with every once in a while, instead of just saying, because I have a friend right now, great friend of mine. Her and her husband was going through some things. The whole time I'm telling her, fix that. Like, everything was, don't let that be a problem. Fix that. Okay. And to the point where she did everything she could, and it got to an unfixable moment. And then, even then, when she was like, I can't do this no more. I've been doing A, B, C, D. We did all these different things. We went here, we went there, and these outcomes are still occurring. I was like, at that point in time, you did all you could. Now, if you want to walk away, don't beat yourself up about it. You see what I'm saying? Maybe now walking away is what's going to change the decision. Hell, maybe you want a girlfriend now. Let's be honest. Let's go get you a girlfriend. Whatever the case may be. Sexuality is a spectrum, people. But, you know, as long as you don't let outside people come in and alter your thought process who don't know the whole story, I don't care who you talk to about whatever.
So how do you feel since you've been a guest on my show today?
Girl, talking to you is no different than talking to anybody else.
See,
you like a cousin that's trying to be nosy.
Why you can't just say that you had a good time and this is your favorite podcast? Why you could have just said?
Because I will not lie like that in public. Where I come from podcast
public was the word public.
Where I come from
so
podcast.
I recorded him when he said.
hosted by moi, is my favorite podcast. Okay. You're in the top 7. I'll give you that much.
Okay.
But you definitely not number 1. Where I Come From podcast.
Well, number 1, I'm coming for you.
Followed by the Death Fresh Show, which is also hosted by me.
Oh, okay. So okay. you.
I'm a Sagittarius, of course. The hell?
Yeah, y'all are so crazy. Oh my God.
I am a Sagittarius.
Crazy.
We are not crazy. We are blunt and to the point. Let me ask you.
Too much.
Look, we don't want
I'm
you to
surrounded
ever.
by y'all. Too
we
much. Too
do
much
not
bluntness.
want you to misinterpret.
Keeping it right goes wrong.
We do not want y'all to misinterpret how we feel about something. If I say, this is what I want to do, I want to do this with you, and this is where we are, believe it. Believe it. People don't want to believe. People just cannot. We take things on face value. End of story.
I am. Oh my God, y'all are just crazy. And
we
then
are
y'all
not
have
crazy.
the nerve to be right before us, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I act nothing like them. No Capricorns act nothing like y'all. Nothing.
No one said you're supposed to because there's only one
y'all
us.
Is just crazy.
We are not.
My son and my mother, just being in between them alone, and those are just like the top 2 of most outrageous Sagittarius I've ever met.
We are not the crazy. See the common misconception that a lot of y'all tend to forget about with us is, number 1, we are the last sign in the order of signs, because by definition Capricorn is first. Okay, when you go through the pecking order, so we're the last. Okay, so we have to sit here on a calendar year and watch every last one of y'all scream it's y'all season and how it's the best season and have this phenomenal time, and in some cases, depending on where you live, even have great weather to go along with it. Okay, but then when you get to Sagittarius season, y'all don't give a fuck about ours because y'all done burnt out, tired, it's the end of the year. And then then we're anchored by 2 holidays, 2 of the most expensive holidays that people care more about. You got Thanksgiving at the beginning of Sagittarius season, and you got Christmas at the back end. So that means that there's office parties, Christmas parties, end of the year parties, winter break parties, family functions. So we can't even do anything about us because, I got to go to this event, or I got to do this here, or I got this party going on here, or I can't spend money and go out with y'all because I got to save for Christmas. I got to get all these different things for kids. And then let's talk about Christmas. Let's talk about how y'all broke asses be trying to double up our gifts. See, my birthday is December 18th, so it's exactly 1 week before Christmas. So when it's time,
28th.
You said it's not about you, okay? It's about me, okay? Right now. So, but still, then you might even still get a Christmas gift and then get a birthday gift later. But y'all be trying to either not give us our gift on, especially for me, on my birthday because Christmas is a week later, or y'all try to say, well, I'm gonna give you both your birthday and Christmas at the same time. No. If my birthday was June 29th, I would get a birthday gift and I would still get a Christmas gift. Don't fucking shortchange me. Give me a birthday gift and a Christmas gift.
I can shortchange.
You can give me a birthday gift in August and be like, here's your birthday gift early because I don't want you to not get something for Christmas too. I'm perfectly fine with that. It's the thought that counts. You could probably have as much dick as you want if you give me that. It's the fact that you did not try to combine my fucking gift.
I get shortchanged to America, Milwaukee. My birthday is December 28th.
That's your fault.
Between Christmas and New Year's. Now y'all know everybody's ready for the New Year.
No. Exactly.
And they broke from Christmas.
Exactly. But they still figure out a way to turn up. It's a party and a bag for your dad. Nobody wants to make a big meal because we still full from Thanksgiving and then we going by such and such house for Christmas. No, fuck you. Okay.
I don't agree with that, but we're gonna table that for a different day.
I'm tired of y'all coming for us and don't look at it. See, that's what I'm talking about. Perspective.
Do you know that I have to make sure my mother and my son have everything they want. And then 2 weeks later, I got to get them something for Christmas. I'm like, what the?
And you supposed to, because if your birthday was June 29th You would still get something for your birthday and Christmas. Quit shortchanging us.
But you know what? But my
You.
mother, we if we didn't get nothing for our birthday and Christmas, my mother always made sure that I had a birthday and a Christmas.
And I give moms credit because my mom did the same thing. Either my mom made sure I had something for both days, or my mom will go overboard on one of them. She would go overboard. Like it was one year. I don't even know what made her do this, but one year for my birthday, she bought me wrestling tickets. I didn't expect that. So the fact that you got me, and I'm not just talking regular wrestling tickets, I'm talking like pay-per-view, Chicago, down low.
Don't
Okay.
play with
So
it.
I'm not expecting nothing for Christmas. Okay. This is before the girls were born, of course. I was cool with that. Another year, she decided to buy me a PlayStation 4 when it first dropped. Like this motherfucker was hard to get at the time. I had a PlayStation 4, no questions asked. All the random accessories for it. I didn't expect nothing for Christmas because she went overboard. She always made sure that no matter what, on my birthday, I had a cake. She's like, yeah, I can't get you no gift this year, but you're gonna get a cake. I'm cool with that because she specifically got something for my birthday. Now the agreement is I don't want shit for Christmas spending on the kids, and she'll go overboard on the kids. But I will take one gift, put my name on, and say it's for me. But I still give my kids. I have a nasty habit of giving my gifts to the kids before Christmas. So whatever I got them for Christmas, they get theirs on the 24th, and they get everybody else's on the 25th. I've been doing that for years. So it's to the point right now where they just, where's Daddy's gift at? Get it tomorrow. Okay. They know they're gonna get mine early.
Well, Milwaukee, we're gonna wrap this up, but I will be coming for the number one spot. I guess it's his show or somebody that he knows show.
It's
I don't
my
know.
show. They both my show.
Oh, see what I'm saying?
You know why my favorite shows is my show? Because number one, I don't have anybody being mad at me because somebody else is number one. And number two, okay. No. This is how you get it. See, parents, those who got more than one kid, we know you got a favorite kid, but you just say that you're not your favorite. You don't have favorites because we know damn well you got a favorite. It's probably your second, but but
I tell my kids it's whoever I'm talking to at the time. So if y'all both say something to me at the same time, then y'all got to split it 50-50.
I don't technically have a favorite. My oldest is more me. Okay, so we tend to have a different bond than me and my youngest. My oldest makes me feel like I'm in dad mode, and it's like a proud dad mode. But with my youngest, when I'm in dad mode with her, I'm a protective dad mode. You see what I'm saying? Like my oldest would do things, and it's a lot of stuff that I used to do that she does. So being able to see a younger me grow and be able to guide her, it's like, okay, when Daddy was here, this is what I did, and this was the outcome. Okay, I want to do that. Like there's no conflict with her. But with my youngest, I have to protect her because there's a lot of things that she doesn't understand or grasp so quickly like my oldest does. So I'm more so like very hands-on when it comes to her and her learning capability. So it's different. I don't have a favorite because I parent both of them differently in regards to it. I don't have the same parenting style for both of them. I can't. My oldest, I was like, you go over there. So what you break something. So what did we learn? Okay. My youngest is like, hold on. No, we're not going to do this because if we do this, this is what's going to happen. So let's try this instead. Let's go this direction. Okay, cool. How did that work for you? You feel good? Two different teaching styles. I'm a dope ass dad.
Shout out to all the good fathers out there. We are having an episode coming up very shortly about
Let's shout out to the fathers are okay dads as long as you're an active dad. We fuck up. It's part of the business. Okay. It's the most thoughtless job that no one gives a damn about you do, but God damn it, you're doing your best at it and keep doing it. Fuck you.
Well, I didn't mean to say it like that.
I'm messing with you.
I try to, encourage all men to be the best that they could be for their kids. Because some people is just dead. What you gonna do? I know a girl who father her child is dead, and it's not gonna never be a conversation where she could call and argue with him about something not getting done. So, we We promoting fatherhood over here. I want everybody to, try to bridge that gap between them and their kids. It's important. So fathers are really, really, really needed, and
Sell drugs.
really needed. Thank you, Milwaukee. That
Hey,
is the
matter of
end
fact,
of.
I got a question for you. We're gonna talk off air. So thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Between the Sheets. Make sure you check us out on all streaming platforms at Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We will be back to our regular scheduled program on Saturdays at noon. Not this weekend, but the following weekend, right? Yep, following weekend. She's gonna go frolic in the streets, which is why we couldn't hear. But I definitely want you guys, if you are in the city of Milwaukee, July 29th, TDR Kickback. Basically, what it is our welcome to Sherman Phoenix. If you did not know, Tonedef Radio is now officially taking residency here at the Sherman Phoenix Marketplace. And we're celebrating that by having an event where we're going to have vendors of all different types of people who have basically fucked with TDR through the 13 years of us potting. We're also going to do a few live podcasts here. So if you actually want to come in, sit down and see what a podcast show is like in person, with live crowd interactions and all of that, definitely make sure you come out for that as well too. And we will have games and all kind of fun things going on. It's going to be from noon to 5 p.m. And you know what? While you're here, go ahead and patronize Sherman Phoenix as a whole. We have Queen's Closet, we have Jay Riley's, we have Control C, we have Junior's Barbecue. Oh, that's fire! It's freaking fire here in regards to that.
From there?
I actually, the pizza that you seen me earlier eating, I got from there. But they be having ribs, they be having burgers. It's meat, okay? It's meat everywhere, meat galore. As well as a few other shops that recently have moved into the Sherman Phoenix. So definitely make sure you come out, check it out, support. If you don't support me, at least support the businesses here at Sherman Phoenix. It is a great, great thing. And those of y'all who really fucked with TDR, be on the lookout for some more information for that same day. With that being said, we are out of here, people. Peace.